What's going on, everybody? And I am not even 1 minute late. How are you blowing up my phone trying to get me started already? It's been a long time. I don't remember. I think the last live stream I did was back when Iran had just hit, or when Iran was just hit. I think that was the last one that I did. I'm almost positive that was it. So a lot has changed during that time. We have we have definitely gone different directions since then. I'm glad I didn't try keeping up with all that. I was going to try keeping up with that whole instance and try to follow that whole situation, but literally you have to be on top of it every day, 24 hours a day. Sticking with just that is the only thing that you could do to be able to get the correct information out there. Excuse me, and get out there on time. Get it out there on time. Hey Larry, how you doing? Stacy's mom, PJ, how we all doing tonight? I'm surprised to see you guys all in here. I'm glad you guys stayed subscribed. We're going to go in a little different direction than what you guys are used to seeing me go. We're going to travel down the fun road of relationships and where the hell they have gone wrong. And I'm not just talking about like your personal relationship. I am surprised to see you. But I'm not talking about just your personal relationship. I'm talking about where relationships are at in 2026. You know, so many things have changed. PJ, why are you not? That's why you're not modded. Give me 1 second and I'll mod you up real quick. But our dating situations and relationships and everything have changed so stinking much, and I mean it's become more of a chore than it is anything these days. Trying to find somebody that you click with is so incredibly hard right now. All right, PJ, I think you should be good now. I grabbed you. But I don't know what everybody's relationship status is in the chat here, but I mean I know Stacy's mom, but and I think I know PJ's, but we haven't talked in a while, so I'm not 100% sure on yours either. But you know, for me personally, the last like year and a half, you know, I've been out on the dating scene, like trying to get back into it. You know, I've been single, like steadfast on not wanting to have anybody in my life and wanting to just make sure I got my head on straight. You know, life hit me pretty hard like 12 years ago, and kind of threw my head for a spin. So I needed to find myself again and kind of find who I was and you know what I wanted and like where I wanted to go and who I wanted to have or what type of person I wanted to have with me. Yeah, I know you did. I know you did. But you can kind of talk on this subject too because 1996 dating is completely different than 2026 dating. I mean, you have children of your own, so I'm sure you know you probably hear the war stories out there. But and before that I was married for a decade. So like I've been out of the whole dating scene and the whole realm of all that for a while. And so about a year and a half ago I started like actively dating again. Right after my divorce I dated a couple of times, but I was the typical middle aged man that I went after. I was in almost I was 30. How old was I? 37. And at one point in time, I was dating a 22-year-old, and that ended after like 4 days. Um, and then I was dating a 26-year-old, and that ended after like 3 weeks. And in which case, I realized, all right, I'm not trying to date anybody that freaking young. Um, again, 2026, an older man dating and somebody in their 20s is not abnormal, which definitely used to be. Yeah, see, I don't blame you. Hey, MJ, how are you doing? Glad to see you made it in. And again, I wanted to thank all you guys for staying subscribed. You're off the market. Good. That's what I hope for everybody, to be honest, is that we all can find, that person one day. You'll find them one day, PJ, but it's good that people are being picky. Um, these days, like just coming from a man's point of view, and I got you women in the chat with me, and again, a couple of you seem to be taken, but a couple of you aren't. So it can kind of help me out here because this is only coming from my point of view, like what I've been through and what I've been watching and experiencing. Like, men have gone so far off the rails with everything. I mean, I don't think I don't think there is like a standard to how men should be treating women these days. Excuse me. Back in my early 20s, even into my teens and whatnot, like, I'm a hopeless romantic. I'm the one that watches movies like The Notebook and You've Got Mail, and some of those older movies that are so fantastical, in a sense that that's not something that normally happens in somebody's life, but at the end, there's that happy moment where the two individuals fall in love and spend the rest of their lives together. But nowadays, it's literally men are out there, and the only things that they're doing is, and not to be disrespectful towards any women in here, but they're out there trying to find the easiest piece that they can get. They have no morals, they have no values, they have no nothing. It's sleeping in Seattle, yeah. Um, or sleep, isn't it Sleepless in Seattle? Same thing. But they're out there just trying to get that quick piece. And again, I'm talking about men. They're out there. There's so many. Again, this is. I'm not trying to disrespect anyone, so please, no one take anything that I say offensive, because I'm not trying to disrespect anyone. Um, and I'm not talking about anybody in the chat or anything like that. So this is not directed towards anyone. But there's men out there that are just they're trying to find that easy piece, and that easy piece can be a lot of different things. You know, they could be finding women that are in financial needs. They could be finding women that are just pick me's that are starving for attention. You can go to the bars and pick up a woman, no problem. Uh, like, men are looking these days for the most damaged individuals, and then they're taking advantage of that situation. And then what they do, they get what they want and they split. And that goes in many different levels. And then what that does is, I see it takes the women, and it jades you guys so bad, and it hurts you guys so bad, that for the next guy that may be completely sincere and honest and all that other stuff, that you don't even give them the opportunity. But then what ends up happening is that woman says, okay, I'm going to give this man that opportunity, and I'm not going to let the last one that broke my heart do that again, or stop me from trying to be happy. And then all of a sudden you turn around, and then that one that seemed so sincere and so loving and so caring got what they wanted, and then everything changes. And I've watched that time and time and time again with men. And then the men that, aren't the 3 6s, the ones that aren't 6 foot tall, six figures, and 6 inches, um, like those men, they are stuck in a hole to where they're running after literally everything. Like you see a lot of these women that are online, and they don't even have to be posting like uh risque pictures or anything like that. They can just be pictures of them hanging out like with all their friends and stuff, and they got a nice outfit on, or the sitting, or you guys sitting next to a pool or whatever, and then all of a sudden, if you're any kind of um if you have like any kind of following or anything like that, which a lot of people are turning their Facebook pages, their YouTube pages, and everything into creator accounts, so that that attention's constantly there, because a lot of people need that attention these days. But all of a sudden, these women are just flooded with all of this weird shit in their DMs, and then that turns them off, and that doesn't give anybody else a chance. Mismatches in couples these days are insane. You just know. Well, that's exactly it. And the 3 6s is something that a lot of us guys know. I'm not a tall individual. I'm not the most handsome individual in the world, but I have a sense of humor. I have a good job. I'm a good father. I'm good in relationships, even though I have a divorce, but not everything goes perfect. But in that sense, it's always the ones that have the more money, or the ones that are tall, dark, handsome, all that stuff. So everybody everybody is put in these little categories now. And a lot of women have been um, brainwashed through all of the social media and all this other crap, that those are the types of men that they need, the type of men that they deserve, all that stuff. I mean, you'll see women online that are a solid like 4, and they think they deserve, the hottest man in the world. And a lot of that comes from the factor of like these weirdos that are out there. Like they blow everybody's egos up. But when it comes to the men specifically, like we forgot how to be men. We forgot how to be men in relationships. We forgot how to take care of women. We forgot how to treat women. Sorry, guys, you're gonna hear me clear my throat a few times. It's been a long time since I've streamed, so I got to get my voice used to talking this much again. Plus, I was on the road for like 8 hours today, and all I did was talk. I was a little chatty Cathy the whole time. But we forgot that it takes the chivalry, it takes the respect, it takes the compassion, it takes the empathy. Like men have gone through such a change over the last, I would say, like 50 years, really, where you know we went from being the provider in the home, coming home, loving your wife, being so deeply, madly in love with your wife, to all of a sudden a day and age where men don't cry, men don't show emotion, men, don't break, and you're just a solid as a rock. And then we went into a generation where all of a sudden, okay, men need to be softer than women. We need to cry all the time. We need to, just be in touch with every single one of our emotions. And, like you need to be so feminine that you're almost playing for the other team. And then now all of a sudden we're back to where men and women, not just men, but men and women are nothing but sluts. Like that's all that all of them are. I'm dead serious. Men and women are just hoes. Hey, Kiwi, how we doing, hon? And it's ridiculous. And I'm not even like I'm in my 40s and I'm dealing with this shit. I'm dealing with women that still think that they're in their fucking mid 20s. And then, like men, they always like I seen in the chat earlier, they always sat there and they always had a side piece all the time. Like anybody I talk to, anybody I see, like they always have a side piece. And it's not even just in dating anymore. It's in relationships too. When like men start getting bored in the relationships, the first thing they do is go and try to find another piece of ass. And it's like, what happened to trying to spice up the relationship at your house, in your home, with the one that you're supposed to be wanting to spend the rest of your life with, or you're dedicating your life to? Like things have gone so far off the rails. And then women, what I'm finding in the dating world, at least, not so much. I don't find too many women cheating all that much. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm just saying I'm not seeing women cheat as much as men are these days. But the one thing I am seeing with women is that they always have one foot in and one foot out because of all the shit that they've gone through in dating and everything. They don't want to put their entire heart and their whole mind and soul and everything into it for it to be like I explained earlier, where they give themselves to somebody and somebody breaks their heart, and then somebody else comes along is completely different and treats you in a completely different way. You give them your heart, and then all of a sudden they break it. And like, men these days will tell you whatever the fuck you want to hear. They will, they will, they will literally tell you anything that they know is going to get in your pants. Period. And I'm a guy. I'm telling you, I know this. I mean, back in my early 20s, well, and into my mid 20s, I was that guy. I was 100% that guy. I would say and do whatever the hell I needed to get a piece. And I'm not proud of any of that, but I'm in my 40s and I'm watching 40-year-olds do that now. And it's like at some point in time you got to grow up and be a fucking man, and you got to start holding down the fort. I mean, like, you got to step up to the plate. You got to step up to the challenges that are there in front of you. And when you're entering in a relationship, at my age, I most of the people that I'm entering into a relationship with have children. So when I enter into that relationship, I'm not just entering into that relationship with her. I now am entering into a relationship with those kids too, and not on the same level, but I'm now going to be a father figure to them. I'm now going to be, a protector for them. And a lot of guys aren't looking at any of that. They just jump into the situation and they say, "Oh, I'm with her." Those guys are her problem, not mine. So I want to know where we went wrong. I've dated a few that within the first couple of months they're saying I love you and they want to move in together, and they want to make things like completely official and all this wild shit. And I have to end up saying goodbye because I'm not going to get to know you in just a couple months. I'm not going to get to know you to move in with you in just a couple months. I'm not able to just throw myself into a relationship anymore. It's one of those things that even some of the women that I'm dating that are closer to my age, not the significantly younger one that I was dating years ago, but what's going on, you guys? I'm glad to see everybody in here. It makes me happy to see you guys back. But the thing with all of it is, like, we need to get back to where we start actually cherishing each other. We need to get back to where we take the time to figure out who each other actually are. You're not going to figure that out in just a couple of months. You're not going to, I mean, realistically, the first couple of years is supposed to be like your honeymoon stage. Like, in all honesty, you shouldn't even be arguing or fighting all that much. Now, is it going to happen? Yeah, it's going to happen. Like, nobody's freaking perfect. Things are going to happen. but it should be the fun, exciting, all that stuff. Like you shouldn't be terrified and scared the whole time. And like some of the guys that I've seen out there, they love bomb the shit out of them because they get so scared that an individual is going to leave. And then that individual leaves because you're love bombing the shit out of them. And a lot of men don't go into situations understanding what is coming with that situation. A lot of women are going into them knowing that they have all this coming with them, and the men make them believe that, hey, I got this, and then they don't. And that's happening on all sorts of different levels. And then again, now I'm going to switch away from the men for a minute. I'm going to talk about like experiencing things with you women. And I may hurt a few feelings, and I apologize. But again, I'm talking about the women that I've encountered in my dating, not you guys in the chat or anyone that may be listening. You know, when I go and I'm dating someone, I want to really get to know you. I want to get to know what really makes you click, what what is your deepest what do you call it, like what you care about the most, who you care about the most, what's important to you, what type of lifestyle you want to have, what really makes you click, like who you are, because that's the person I want to fall in love with, and the person that I need to fall in love with. And when I'm watching in these relationships, these women, especially if they think that you're a real good individual and you show them nothing but that, they want to just throw themselves right at you. They, again, I've had them saying I love you, wanting me to move in, wanting to within just a couple of weeks put a title on the relationship. And for me, I can't put a title on it that fast, because when I put a title on it, that means I'm diving head in and I'm going for it. And we're going to make this happen. You're all in, I'm all in, we're doing this. And in just a couple months or a couple weeks, I can't do that. I can't make that type of decision, and I'm not going to just jump in on that. You know, yeah, right. The easy, clingy ones, they're scary. Um, when when she throws herself at me that fast, it makes me realize that, okay, she's not really in this to try finding an actual relationship. She's in this to find Mr. Right now, not Mr. Right. You know, like, and sometimes it makes me feel like she don't have a lot of respect for herself, because if she knew who she was and what she was about, she would be choosing somebody, probably choosing somebody better than myself. I'm not a terrible person or anything like that. I just don't have a lot to offer anyone. Again, I'm not 6 foot tall. I don't make six figures. I'm a single father. I like every bit of money that I have goes to my bills and all that other stuff. I don't have fancy, nice, crazy things. So when I have a woman throwing herself at me that fast, it's like, okay, like let's back up here and take a look at what's going on and why. Demanding commitment after a few weeks, red flag. Yeah, and I wouldn't really say like they're demanding. It's just they're kind of they ask, and it's like it's a little nerve wracking sometimes, because there's something hiding behind it. And commitment is scary. I agree, but it's not the commitment part of it that scares me. It's why is somebody so willing to commit so fast? That scares me. It's too hot here for clingy. Yeah, you live in the freaking desert. One meant for you isn't looking right now because she's sick of assholes. Just saying. Yeah, and again, I mean, for me, like I'll know. Like I'll know who I want to be with, because we'll click on many levels. But getting back to it, when other women that I've dated, they have 1 foot in and then they have one foot out. And what I mean, like one foot out, is they have like a backup plan, right? I just got out of a relationship that I was seeing a girl for a few weeks, and I was only seeing her. I wasn't, we weren't serious or anything like that. She did want to be serious like right away. So I talked to her and we took a step back from that conversation, not from like where we were, because we weren't really like diving into things. But on the backhand, when we weren't together, she was still talking to her ex fiance. And with her talking to her ex fiance, she had made comments to other individuals that knew her ex, and those comments got to him, and then he contacted me, and which I knew of the guy. I didn't know him personally, and I didn't like know who he was or anything like that. We were never friends. I mean, we played some softball together years ago. But getting back to it, she was telling him and having him like basically uh sad puppy in the whole time, because like he was trying to do everything to get his future, what he thought was his future wife back, and was trying to make things right, where she was just stringing him along until she knew what was going on with us, and she kept him there so that she could fall back on him. And she literally told one of her friends that she goes, I can't believe so and so, thinks I still like them. And that's what got back to him. And so he was severely hurt, contacted me, and then I ended it right there, because I'm not going to be with someone or try to be with someone that has one foot in and one foot out. And then I'm also not going to be with someone that's intentionally hurting and breaking another man's heart. That I'm not that type of individual. I'm not that type of person where I'm going to be like, "Oh yeah, look at, I got your girl, F you, blah blah blah." No, I mean, if I find out somebody's doing stuff like that, I'm cutting you off immediately. And I mean, Stacy's mom knows about it, but what people don't understand about me is, there once I cut you off, you're gone. There's no looking back. There's no bringing you back. There's no second chances. There's no nothing. I will disappear completely out of your life, and I will not come back. So I cut her completely off, and that's not the first time I've ran into something like that. It That's happened on numerous occasions where I'm talking to someone and they're also talking to a couple other, because they're scared of where things are going to go with us. And it's like, I'm not doing that. I refuse to do anything like that. And then again, on the other hand, you got the women that are just like diving into everything. I want to know what happened to the courting, to the dating, to the going steady, all that stuff. Like the long conversations, going for long walks to get deep into conversations and really figure out who each other are and what you're about. The dating for a while, because you really don't know if you like someone until you're really living with them. You could really, really love someone and be so madly in love with them. And then all of a sudden, the first time you guys, within the first couple months you guys living together, all of a sudden that person don't clean, don't do the dishes, don't do their laundry, showers very rarely, and all they were doing was putting up that facade during that whole time. So you never really know. You jump into things, and you're just asking for glutton for punishment. You're just asking for trouble. What you want to do is try to take your time into things. And chat, like, when did you guys start seeing a lot of this stuff change? Like, it really feels like, for me, it's been only the last few years that almost every woman that I know has, not that I know, but that I see and have met or anything like that, has, their little moneymaker pages. And, they're out there just like stacking up the bodies. The guys are out there just being, freaking whores. They like not put it like, when did we turn into a giant world of nothing but adult entertainment. Like that's really what it feels like out in the dating world. It feels like I'm out there messing around and dating a bunch of adult entertainers. And you guys know what I mean by adult entertainment. See, Kiwi, I agree, but I feel like for a while there, because I was dating through that time, I got married during the, not the 2000, not around 2000, but 2000s to 2000, whoa, 2013 is when I got, yeah, is when I got married. 2012 is when I got married. And so like I was dating during that time because I graduated in '01. So during that time, like I was dating and all that stuff, and it seemed like that was where the stage where men had to be the hard asses all the time, and we couldn't show any affection or anything like that. And then right around 2015, 2014, maybe even 2016, it started changing to where all of a sudden like we had to be these soft like bitches, really. When I decided I wanted wholesome, it changed. Okay, moneymaker pages to again, yeah, and but I just don't understand like how did our society change to that? How did we change to literally adult entertainment? I mean, I can't watch like let's say I'm going through like shorts on Facebook or on YouTube, and you'll see a beautiful woman, and then you look and at the bottom of the page it'll be like spicy link here, and it's like what the heck. And then you go through and you're like, oh, that's a cute person that's playing tennis, and then all of a sudden at the bottom it says spicy link here, and it's like every single one of them have these links. But then you have all these weirdos that are going there and they I know you don't have an OLED. God. But all these weirdos will go there. Like, since when do we buy people's bathwaters? Since since when can women fart in a jar and sell it? Like, what is going on? What are we doing? What happened? There's men that are out there that tell ladies, "Hey, go work out and don't wash your undergarments, and then sell them to me." The fuck is wrong with you? Like all this stuff, and it's not just a few. You know what I mean? Like there's people out there that make money off of weirder stuff. Yeah, bathwater. There's all sorts of weirdness out there. A lot of weirdness. And then now all of a suddenly I'm following Facebook pages and stuff of all of the I can't even begin to explain how many people are getting caught on those predator pages. The ones where they sit there and they catch predators, and like you have independent people out there that are acting like, little girls and little boys, and everybody's getting caught. Like what is going on with our society? Where are we going? What the hell happened? And why is all this stuff so normal? Those are the things that I want to figure out. Why is this all so normal? How has this all gotten normalized and made to be where when we hear it, we're just like, "Oh yeah, that happens." And like it doesn't phase anybody anymore. Like I swear on some of these pages that I see, like some of the things you see on them, you're like, how are we just how are we just okay with this stuff? I don't really understand it anymore. I don't understand how getting back to like men and women and dating and whatnot. I don't understand how men can just in their 40s and 50s, late 30s, can run around and think that they're playboys again. Um, I don't understand on like how so many women are nowadays are just okay putting their bodies out there to everybody. Like I understand your body, your choice, all that stuff, fine. But where did all of our dignity and our pride and our morals go? And how the heck do we get back to having some of that? That's what I want to know. Like, how do we get there? Yeah, yeah, you guys are stuck on the farts and feets and bathwater, huh? Those are just a couple of things that I threw out there of how weird everything's getting. Like things are so insane these days, and it's on. Oh, sorry, it's on so many levels that I can't even keep up. I don't even know. I don't even know the next turn to make. And it definitely is the algorithms. I don't know if that says AI Gore's internet, Kiwi, or if you're saying algorithms on the internet. Like, I don't know which one that is. And we're gonna deep dive a little more into this. I planned on only doing like 45 minutes tonight because it's my first live back, but I want to dive into this a little bit. I want to figure out like talking with you guys, and hopefully maybe if how many people watch this afterwards can leave comments of like their experiences and stuff too, and like what they're going through, and try to figure out like what we can do to change some of this. Because I mean, one of the crazier things that I've seen out of all of it is there are so many men and women both that want just wholesome relationships. They want to just have that connection with someone, have that deep spiritual connection with someone. And 9 times out of 10, we have those people right in front of us. And then we choose to still pick all these morons. I can't even tell you how many times I've done that, where I've had a good person in my life. And this was many years ago, not here recently. Uh, because I've only known a few individuals over the last year and a half. But and then you end up choosing the one that you're lusting for instead of the one that would have made your life amazing. And it's like all we're doing is sitting there shooting ourselves in the feet because we're going for the ones that society has trained our brains and everything to chase after, instead of the ones that our hearts and mind and everything know the one that's who we should be with. Let me Women wanted to be all that and then some, and here we are. I mean, yeah, I get that. I do sometimes think that maybe we push the feminism thing a little too far, and that just made women extremely comfortable with their bodies. But at the same time, I don't find anything too terribly wrong with that, because I think you should, no matter who you are, you should be comfortable with your body, and you should be happy. That I mean, like, I get that we're not all comfortable with our bodies, and we're like body, what is that, body euphoria. Shoot, I don't know big words, sorry guys, but I know people that that's a thing. So I think it's good to reinforce some of that. They turned the society upside down, the days when it was the man who went to work and the wife, and 2.2 to 4 children were at home, are long gone. Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things too is like that I'm finding, like back in the day, a man could go and work an honest job and bring home enough money to take care of their families. And I know that's a stress on a lot of families these days. Seems that way lately if you're not a Trumper. Yeah, I don't care about. I'm so tired of hearing about that man. I'm glad we got him instead of the rest of them, but I'm so tired of hearing about him, and I don't want to talk about that guy. There's so many different people out there that talk about him, including himself. Like, I'm so tired of hearing about that idiot. When did politics come into dating? Oh, gee, yeah. It's not just in dating; it's in life in general too. Nothing is left to the imagination. See, and that's the other thing. Yeah, nothing is left to the imagination anymore. Like, you pretty much. No, I know what you're talking about because you're 100% correct. It is. Politics have gotten deep into dating and whatnot, but um, you guys don't give men any kind of like anything to be curious about. Not you guys. You guys know what I mean, though. Like, but then at the same time, men don't want to have to work for it. They want to, they don't want to have to put in the effort. They don't want to have to put in um, the work that it takes to build a healthy relationship. They just want that wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and then move on to the next one. And I'm not. That's why, like, I don't want to sit here and act like one is worse than the other, or like men are the problem or women are the problem, because I truly think it's going both ways. I think both are having issues with dating because, like I said, there's so many men and women out there that are all looking for that same thing. They're all looking for that deep connection. And there's so many of them out there, but they've been hurt, they've been walked on, they've been broken, they've been left in the gutters, and now they're just sick and tired of it. So with them being sick and tired of it, they have gave up on it. And I was there for a while, and I still kind of am there right now. Um, it's kind of hard for me to sit there and believe and think that the one for me is out there, because I've been through God knows how many throughout my life and still haven't found the one. You know, you think you do, you think you have, but you don't. So it's just one of those things where there's a lot of men and women out there that want the same thing, and I think the world's starting to try to change back to that, on many different levels, because you can't use dating apps, you can't use trying to go out to the bars anymore. Like, again, and I want to deep dive into all that stuff because I really think cell phones and social media and all that stuff really takes a toll on relationships and stuff too. I don't think it's just society that's doing that. um, but yeah, we're coming up on 45 minutes here, and I kind of want to wrap it up. It's been a good first live stream. Like I said, I'm gonna do some more. We'll start covering different topics and whatnot. I'm gonna try not being as controversial as what I've always been. I got to try staying in the YouTube good graces. Um, you don't want to get blackballed. We know how that goes. PJ, you know how it goes when you got all these people coming after you all the time and whatnot. So I'm gonna try staying in my lane and trying to talk about more life stuff and try to have a little bit more of a different approach and a different channel than what we had in the past. So hopefully we can get this stuff out there and get more people in here to talk about a lot of this. I mean, the more the more men and women we have in here talking and getting through it, I mean, maybe it can help some of us, find or lead our way or have the tools to look for that that special person that's out there instead of just trying to, you know, freaking army crawl your way through all these relationships. Dirt taking nourishment. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still alive. I've been over the last couple years really. I've wanted to come back to streaming and wanted to come back to talking to you guys and getting back into things. It's just there was never any topics that I thought that were worth it. You know what I mean? Like when we went through the true crime stuff, like we could sit there and we could complain and attack these people and cut their viewerships down and all that stuff. But that just got so dirty and so ugly, and with me having kids and stuff, I didn't want all that stuff to spill over. And at the end of the day, I was not accomplishing anything. There at the end of the day, there was no end goal in sight at all. And I'm not one of the ones that like it if I'm fighting the good fight or whatever, I like to know that there will be some sort of end in sight. And that stuff there's no end in sight. And so I was trying to get away from that for a while, went quiet and then we came back and I was like, all right, well, let me do some news stuff. Let me keep up on stuff that's going around the world and stuff that's going on here in the country and, just kind of try to get away from all that stuff. And then I started doing the Iran stuff at the very beginning when we first attacked, and things were changing every single minute. So like you have to if I wanted to get you guys accurate information and be able to have an accurate judgment on stuff that's going on, all that fun jazz, like I needed to be up on all of the information and it's ever changing literally minute by minute. So I was never able to stay up on everything. By the time I was bringing stuff to you guys to talk about it, that stuff is like completely old news, even though it happened 6 hours ago and something's completely changing. And like you guys have seen how all that over there is gone. So it's just constantly changing all the time. And I don't have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to hit that go live button to bring all the top information. And then the same thing in the country here. Like things were changing and moving so fast that I couldn't keep up with all that. And I don't have a production team or anything like that. So I don't have people watching and grabbing clips or any of that stuff. So I was like, well, I don't want to do that either, because there's no real ever ending to any of that. So, or being able to like accomplish anything. Like I would bring you guys the top information and whatnot, but at that time, something else was already happening. So like that information was pretty much useless. So over the last 6 months here, I've been really itching to get back, but I never really had any topics or anything that like I felt like I could contribute to or anything that you guys would want to come and sit and listen to. Um, because I do know a lot of you guys like to sit there and listen to me talk. So I'd like to have something that's for you guys to be able to digest and make it worth your while to come and listen to me just jabber. Um, so now, what I figured out is like a lot of people in this world are going through a lot of these same things, a lot of these changes, and just have open dialogue and try to have open chats and discussions and stuff with people about some of this stuff and just kind of see where that all leads. Because at the end of the day, I mean, maybe we can help people that are in the chat, like I said, find their path on how they want to find their significant other, or maybe somebody in here could give me advice on how I'm finding somebody. Like maybe we could help each other in some sort of way, or at least try to build it to where we can start bringing a little attention to some of this stuff and try to see if we can get some of these things to change. But I thank you guys all for coming in. You guys, with YouTube and everything these days, the biggest things is, commenting and interacting with the video. So, if you guys could hit the like buttons, if go back and listen to it, and if you have things to add, don't hesitate to comment in the comment section because all that stuff really does drive the algorithm these days. But yeah, I'm extremely happy to see all you guys in here. I was happy when I came back the last time, and a lot of you guys are still here. And here we are, almost 4 years from when everything really started, and we're all still here. So makes it really cool, and I appreciate you guys coming in, and make sure you guys are looking for the notifications, because they will start going a little bit more. I think I have something here that I can run with for a while, and I actually feel like I'm accomplishing something, or you know helping in some sort of way. So yeah, thank you guys for all coming in, and again, make sure you guys hit that like button and interact with the video. It's the best way to be able to help me out with this. So we will talk to you guys soon, and thank you again. Night, everybody.